Hello and welcome to LFC Focus. Liverpool, of course, aren't playing this weekend because it is the international break, but that doesn't mean there's nothing to talk about because, of course, you've got England's game today against Scotland, England's game on Tuesday against Spain, and all the Liverpool players will be away representing their respective countries. And, of course, you've still also got the big question of whether there is any points in the international break whatsoever. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So the big talking point of recent months when it comes to international football is that, quite simply, nobody likes the international break. It basically just gets in the way of Premier League football. The standard of football is lower, the competitiveness is lower, attendances are lower, and people just generally aren't interested in watching England and the other international teams play anymore. Now, quality is what a lot of people say is the key problem with the international break, and it definitely is that way with the standard of England's opponents in things like World Cup qualifiers and European qualifiers. On the whole, they're playing teams like San Marino and Malta, who just aren't going to give you a competitive game. And normally when they come to stadiums like Wembley, it's all about damage limitation rather than getting a result for them. And then you add to that the fact that the England national team doesn't really play that well either. They don't look like a coherent team, obviously, because they rarely spend any time training together. And the standard of performances for England players has been very low in recent years, particularly at tournaments like Euro 2016, where they crashed out embarrassingly to Iceland. Now, believe it or not, there are some positives to the international break. From the perspective of a Liverpool fan, it gives players like Daniel Sturridge, who maybe aren't getting enough opportunities in the first team, to get match sharpness. As we saw earlier in the season, Daniel Sturridge got a goal for England in their qualifier against Malta. In addition to this, ticket prices at Wembley aren't actually that bad. For a parent to take their child to see England versus Spain on Tuesday, it's only £30, which is a lot cheaper than going to a Premier League match. And for kids who haven't really seen live football and generally just see it on the telly, it's a good opportunity for parents to give them a real taste of what it's like to watch football in a stadium with the atmosphere around them. So what can be done to improve international football? From my point of view, one of the key problems is that international breaks are too frequent and they're not long enough. They interrupt Premier League football far too often, and often when teams are just getting momentum, and also they never offer the England team enough time to actually get to know each other on the pitch and off the pitch and gain some real chemistry in the way they play. Other methods that can make the break a bit more exciting include perhaps removing seeding from World Cup qualifying groups. Obviously, a lot of people have been saying that England are just playing useless opponents and the games are never competitive or interesting. So to give them competitive qualifying matches against the big teams in Europe like Spain, Germany or Portugal would really spice things up a bit. Obviously, it would be a terrible idea to do away with the international break altogether because every team deserves their chance to qualify for the European Championships or the World Cup. And I think we can all agree that despite the boring nature of qualifiers and friendlies, international tournaments are, on the whole, maybe not so much with Euro 2016, incredibly entertaining with things like 3 matches a day, and it's generally just a brilliant festival of football during the summer. So to round things up, I don't think we should get rid of the international break altogether, but improvements should be made to make the football less stagnant and more exciting for the fans and players. So that's all for today's video. I'm going to be back on Monday for a feature on Liverpool and their potential title tilt this season. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow at LFC Focus TV on Twitter, and I'll see you on Monday.